let me give you a piece of audio here from Joy Behar yesterday talking about guns. Listen to this.
Most AR-15 owners are former military, 35 plus and married. So that's all I'm saying is that they're not just crazy people.
Here's the thing. Once black people get guns in this country, the gun laws will change. Trust me.
Oh, God, that is the dumbest point, and they make it all the time. We want black people to have guns in this country. They have a Second Amendment right, just like white people, just like Hispanic people, just like every other person in this country. We want them to take advantage of their rights. Full stop.
The only ones that have ever tried to take guns away from blacks are Democrats. Look it up. Check it out. Democrats. Every single time. So I love the idea. I think everyone in Chicago that could legally apply for a permit and go buy a gun, I think every black mother and father should have a gun in Chicago. You want to stop things? Have mama come out on her stoop and say, get the F away from my children. Understand? That would stop a lot of things. There's no reason why people have to cower in fear when the government won't do their own job.
Yeah.
Oh, so racist. And you know what it feels like? Almost a little bit like replacement theory. Now, I'm not an expert like the Democrats are on replacement theory, but didn't that say, by the way, she was talking to a black woman who owns a gun. She said that to her. Isn't it a little like you should be afraid because you watch these white people, once blacks get guns, once they think that they can control things, these uppity blacks, they'll start getting guns, and that's when the Republicans will change the law. Isn't that kind of in the family of replacement theory?
It's funny because they say these things as if they're assigning them to Republicans and evil white people.
It's all them.
But I mean, this is just their views. These are the views that have been in the middle of the progressive movement forever. You couldn't trust black people with guns in their view for a very long time, which is why they tried to take those guns away from people like, Martin Luther King.
Right. So wait a minute. Why didn't they trust blacks with guns? Because it's not like they're crazy. They can't figure out how a gun works. They'll take over everything. It was none of that. It was that it would empower blacks. They wouldn't be pushed around anymore. The reason why Martin Luther King, he was a gun owner, but he wanted a concealed carry permit. And the good old sheriff down there said, well, you know what, Mr. King, I think we'd do better if, us white people here who are hosing your people down in the streets, we'd take care and protect you.
For your own protection,
now, did he do that because, pardon me?
It's for his own protection, of course.
Exactly right. And that's what they said. That is the history of blacks not owning guns, always taken or prevented, because these uppity blacks are going to, you know what they're going to do? They're just going to start telling us, thinking they can tell us what to do. That's what she's blaming on current Republicans. It's always Democrats.
Yeah.
Always Democrats.
Let's come up with a mythical gun control policy here. That's unconstitutional, but let's just entertain it anyway. How about a policy where, people walking down the street, you just walk up to them and you just start searching them for guns with no reason, just to do it on the street whenever you want to see if they happen to have guns. And if they do, then you can just prosecute the laws that already exist. There's a gun control policy that's obviously unconstitutional, but you could theoretically implement and would get guns off the street and would get illegal guns off the street. Well, that policy is called stop and frisk. And that policy was in place in New York. And how did the Democrats react to that policy? They didn't seem to like it all that much. They seemed to think that due process was taken away largely from people of color. And in fact, all of these laws that they want to put in would hit that community much harder than it would hit white kids in the suburbs who are depressed and playing video games.
let me see if I have this right. What you're saying is business as usual for the Democrats.